didn't reinvent its clamshell style foldable, but the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4 looks ready to hold on to its value foldable crown. Samsung's mid-year Unpacked event delivered everything we expected, with some new Galaxy Buds 2 Pro, a new duo of smart watches across the Galaxy Watch 5 and Galaxy Watch 5 Pro, and a pair of foldables in the Galaxy Z Fold 4 and the Galaxy Z Flip 4. The new foldable keeps the signature clamshell design and comes with an improved display, dual cameras, and a flagship chipset. The screen's diagonal is 6.7 inch, which is the same as the predecessor, but that's where the similarities end. The new OLED panel has a better hinge that bends in a pear shape to close completely when folded. It supports HDR10 Plus and comes with 144Hz refresh rate. Also, Motorola dropped the weird notch with the panel tucking underneath and introduced a punch hole design for the 32-megapixel front-facing camera. Now, we don't want to call it a selfie shooter, as selfies will likely be taken with the dual camera on the back, in combination with the external 2.7-inch OLED screen that apparently remains unchanged. The main camera has a 50-megapixel sensor and OIS identical to what is used on the Edge 30 Pro and S30 Pro. The secondary camera is a 13-megapixel ultra-wide-angle shooter with 121 degrees field of view. The previous two Moto Razr phones had Snapdragon 7 series chipsets, but finally the Moto Razr 2022 comes with a flagship Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. Other specs include support for RAW shooting, MyUI 4.0 interface that redesigned some apps to work on the outer screen as well, dual speakers with Dolby Atmos support, and proper DC dimming. Both foldables certainly look like their respective predecessors, with the Z Flip 4 rocking a familiar two-tone clamshell form factor, a dual rear camera, and an external cover display. So what is new? Across both the Fold 4 and Flip 4, iterative refinement looks to be the name of the game, but that's especially true with regards to the Flip, which at a glance looks and handles almost identically to its predecessor. Samsung, however, has been keen to impress the influence of its users, and how user feedback has dictated what areas of the Z Flip formula the company has focused on in refining 2021's still compelling Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3. The first two Motorola Razr foldable phones clung too tightly to the nostalgia factor, with an elevated chin at the bottom that was lifted straight from the classic Razr clamshell phones of the past. Motorola did put a fingerprint sensor on the chin and also used it as a clever contraption to slide in a portion of the flexible screen, but it was still a divisive design. In 2022, the chin is going away. A Lenovo executive had already showcased the phone on stage before its launch, revealing a design without any chin and symmetrical bezels at the top of the bottom. Plus, there is no camera notch for the selfie camera at the top. Motorola is also improving the folding design by making the teardrop-shaped hinge inner radius 3.3mm. It will allow the device to be in a half-open position or act as a tripod for your selfies. Motorola has teased several use cases like watching a video on the top half while chatting on the lower half, plus other multitasking stuff. While the design makeover is clean, Motorola still retains some of the classic Razr design by making the top and bottom edges ever so slightly curved. The outer cover display, which is already noticeably bigger and significantly more functional than Samsung's Galaxy Z Flip 3 or Z Flip 4 is also adding a few millimeters to itself on the Razr 2022. The inner foldable panel is a 6.7-inch OLED screen, while the cover display is a 3-inch unit with an 800 x 573 resolution, which will get 9 different widgets for at-a-glance info. The display will have support for DC dimming and a 10-bit panel with HDR10 Plus support. It will be one of the few smartphones in the market to sport an OLED display with a 144Hz refresh rate. Another notable change is the dual lens rear camera setup, but there is no word if more color options will be on the table this year aside from the usual black trim. Samsung has definitely expanded the cover display functionality too, with theme matching when setting Galaxy themes on the main display and a host of new and improved widgets like a Smart Things, Smart Home Control Panel, Samsung Wallet Access, expanded quick replies, plus more general quick settings. Flex mode makes a return to letting you position the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4's sturdy feeling hinge at multiple angles through its full range of motion in order to gain access to a number of split screen experiences. The company has built on existing offerings like YouTube and Google Duo, with apps like Meta Messaging coming out of testing to receive dedicated flex mode support, while features like multi-window have been better optimized for flex mode with a simple gesture from the bottom of the screen to get going. Beyond these additions and updates, which capitalize on the Flip 4's unique hardware configuration, you can expect a more familiar One UI software experience underpinned by Android 12. Samsung's Galaxy Store lives alongside the Google Play Store. Samsung Wallet exists in conjunction with Google Pay, and although the same native Android 12 features persist, they play second fiddle to Samsung's specific implementation when it comes to UI layout and customization. In addition to a weak chip, another chink in the Motorola Razr's armor has been the camera output. Motorola has remained loyal to a single rear camera formula for all its foldable phones so far, and even though the 48 megapixel on the Razr 5G delivered solid results, it was just not enough for the original asking price of nearly $1,400, both in terms of raw quality and lens versatility. Thankfully, Motorola is making positive strides in the department as well. The Razr 2022 has a 50 megapixel primary camera with OIS. It supports 4:1 pixel binding, so you can expect to get 12.5 megapixel images. The main camera is accompanied by a 13 megapixel ultra-wide camera with a 121-degree field of view and support for macro shooting. On the front, you get a 32 megapixel selfie sensor. The overall camera setup might not be as powerful as the main snapper, but if phones like iPhone 13, Galaxy S22 and Pixel 6 are anything to go by, those are enough pixels to deliver some impressive photos.